We're going to have about 15 or 20 minutes of open mic time, but before we do, could you just kind of settle into a few moments of quiet and savor what you heard? Some of the stories were really incredible about how wisdom has manifested herself through us. So maybe just let's appreciate one another momentarily. Observation you want to make, a learning that occurs either through your private reflection or that you gleaned from the table. How does this crowd in this room make wisdom visible?
I'm just thinking back to when we all walked in here this morning. If that wasn't the joy of wisdom, I really felt that everyone wanted to be here, was excited to be here, and I really felt wisdom present in our midst. And I have great hopes for the wisdom that we're going to leave with today and spread to the world.
I feel a great celebration of oneness coming on. We still have 2 more full days to do. But I've been just struck by the power of words, and how words bring a new freshness and creativity to the 300-something-old mission. It's still the same mission, but there's a new freshness, and that's what makes everything relevant that we do. I'm just so struck by how for so much of my life, what was that word you said? What we've experienced changes us and brings us to where we are. For me, everything was always so separate. Spiritual people did spiritual things because they were trained, And justice people did brave things like going to Brownsville and giving everything up. And, my role was to just teach the kids, And I'm just amazed at how we have evolved in this disorienting yet creative moment, this middle space. We've evolved into this oneness where spirituality and justice are one, because it can't be anything else. Justice is spirituality, spirituality is justice. So, it's just a marvelous time. Disorienting, yes, but a call to being as creative as we can be with making visible the face of wisdom at the heart of the world. Those words, they're more than just words, okay? They're a call.
One of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately, I'm going to be 75 next month. So, I don't know how I got here, but here I am. And I'm thinking about what Anne just said about the growing integration we have of community and justice and spirituality. And I think that integration comes from our becoming elders. I think as a community we become elders. I mean, not just by the aging process, but by the transformation process. We look at one another differently, we love one another differently, we love our world differently. I would say in one sense we become more brave, and in another sense we also become more tender. So there's something about eldering that is the face of wisdom now. And I actually have a couple of images that I consider the elder wisdom now, of older women's faces or Native American faces. So her face is also changing.
When Anne was talking about words, there's a song that I hear on the radio very often, and it reminds me of God speaking to us, that words are only words, but that's all I have to speak my love to you.
one of the things that I think that was part of what we shared is how, and I think it's true for all of how each of us as individuals have striven to live out and be wisdom where we are, how we are, and it has changed over time. I think Kathy has pointed that out, and we have a wisdom of 72 years of religious life, who has also lived out and expressed, striven to express wisdom in various ways in different stages of life, and how I think that we all struggle from time to time with inadequacies. We don't feel that we are doing the best we can, or we are who we should be, or et cetera, et cetera. But despite that, wisdom continues to tug at our hearts, tug at our minds and our lives, and pull us forward. Forward to what we are, where we are, and what we are doing. We also, for me personally, talked about energy forces, and how energy exists and always will exist, and not unlike the creative power of wisdom that existed in the beginning and will continue to exist.
I'm a mourner.
Marilyn says, would you give that up? But what helped me very much was Sister Evelyn saying, alone, maybe all of us, and she at this point doesn't have a clue, and yet when she goes to the group, to the leadership team, and they pray and talk together, they know what the next step is. So I think that was just so wonderful, because I do experience that in community. And I went outside, and this is the picture I had. I looked at the beautiful garden outside. It has many varieties of flowers. It's not one flower. It's a variety side by side together that make the garden so beautiful. And it's planned by a volunteer master gardener. So our master gardener, or mistress's wisdom, she put us together side by side. We're very different, but together the answer will be revealed. And then I thought of little Raquel, who is Fabiola's niece, who says, what is it, what's going to work, team? What is it again? Oh yeah, what's going to work? Teamwork. What's going to work? Teamwork. So that was my insight. Thank you.
Isn't self-knowledge wonderful? You're a communal mourner now.
Why does it take so long to get there?
We'll hear from one or two more, and then we'll try to maybe make the room, clear the table so that we could use the tables for lunch. Anyone else who'd like to share how wisdom is made manifest?
Share is from our sharing at our table. One of our sisters, she was sharing about what Sister Evelyn Eckhardt has shared with us in her talk this morning, about the middle space with creativity. And then she said, what she said, I'm quoting with Sister Immaculata, if you don't mind. She said, I mean, she's been out there, and then, so she, over 70 years of religious life, but now she's at Sound Beach, and she doesn't feel she has the energy, like to be, she doesn't see herself how she's going to be part of this changing, how she can be active in it. And then my answer to her thought was, she has done what she could do while she was out there. And then our sisters who are at Sound Beach now, who've been out there for so many years, acting, doing all the work that they could do over the years, now in this retirement place that they are still able to do something with the congregation together in their way of praying. And I said, I am a beneficiary of the powerful action of their prayer, because I know when I was living in Port Jeff, and then I spent so many months, I've been looking for work, and I couldn't find in the area. And then I used to go to Mass at Sound Beach every Sunday, and then they always tell me, we're praying for you, Maria, we're praying for you. Don't worry, you know, our rosary is powerful. Every afternoon, your name is in our rosary prayer, and we're praying for you. And it's gonna work. And it did work. So, you're doing something. You're not lesser. You're doing something, and the prayer that you're doing every day is powerful. If for whatever need that is out there in the midst of our congregation, in the world, you pray for all that, and it works. So you are very powerful in your work, in your prayerful work at Sound Beach.
Thank you. That's a wonderful note on which to close our morning session. Barbara said no. Did you? Oh, Barbara, I'm sorry. I thought you said no, you didn't want to. Excuse me.
I just wanted to say, I was struck by a number of things that were said at the table, starting with, we started to talk in terms of we. The questions are in forms of I, and we know we each have to contribute our part. But it's the we-ness, if I can put it that way. And if there's a plural of we, if we's could be a plural, we need to realize that we all belong to a lot of communities. You know, we might work with one other sister, maybe with none, but we work with a lot of other people. And that's all part of the we of my life, of our lives. And it's essential in ministry today. The other thing that came out is the ministry is revealing and discovering that mutuality. And for me, at this point in time, if it's not mutual, it's not ministry. Somehow or other, if we receive nothing from anybody else, that's almost inconceivable. But we need to be conscious of that. And the third and last thing I want to mention right now is it seems, you know, when Evelyn talked about this disintegration and creativity, I think the creativity comes from the fact that wisdom calls us forth. And very often, at least in my life, very often surprises me, us, and leads us maybe where we don't even want to go. All right? But it's only if we listen and hear the call that we're going to move forward, and we have in a lot of ways. And that says to me that we really need to be part of the evolution of consciousness that's going on in the whole world. So it's always the we of daughters of wisdom with the we of all these other things. That's going to lead to creativity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank all of us, just for the little being together and sharing. It was fun.